Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Wow, I found some articles on Deadline, which are interesting. It's funny that the first thing I'm going to talk about is going to be Battlestar Galactica because Jay just mentioned Battlestar Galactica over on Sidetrack's recent premiere, which was pretty good. I enjoyed that. But I'm not going to mess around. Let's just get straight into this show because it's pretty interesting news. So it's been going around that Battlestar Galactica is going to get another reboot. This is something that I've been hoping for, but there was a thing I was disappointed about with the Galactica reboot was it 2005 that one came out? It was, wasn't it? So yeah, the 2005 reboot was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it up until the second half of the third season, I think it was. That's kind of where it started dropping into the lack of interest point. But I have always hoped. Hey, David. So I know we got Alan, yeah, and we got David B. David B. Great to see you, buddy. It's great to see everyone. But I kind of wish that they would concentrate more on modernization of the older shows instead of the 2005 reboot style for a new BSG. I hope they go for a more traditional one. So I like the idea of a modernization over a reboot because you take the same script and you just bring it up to date. You just reword it, redo all the visual effects to a modern day standard, basically. So I think that would greatly improve the show. Full stop. I think that is a great idea, but I'm going to get into this article. I don't want to go on too much about Battlestar Galactica before I go through this article. So let's go through this article and see what it says, because I think it's interesting. So here we go. Yeah, Battlestar Galactica, Derek Simmons, or Simons, however you want to say it, because they're both spelled the same, right? He's set as a new showrunner for Peacock's reboot in work. I wish they would word it properly. From producer Sam Ismail. It's funny because this is basically what Yorkshire Geek. I've got something special for you, buddy. Got something special for you. Welcome to the chat, and here we go. Welcome,
Steve.
So I had to do it. I couldn't help myself. Couldn't help myself, mate. Funny, if I had known Alan was going to be here, I would have had one for Alan. Yeah, I hope you liked it. I've always wanted to use those clips, so now I've had an excuse. Let's get back into this article because it's interesting. So Sam Ismail, it's basically confirmed that it is in the works, so that's good. So it's an exclusive. There is a new writer at the helm of Peacock's long gestating reboot of the popular sci-fi franchise Battlestar Galactica. The cine creator Derek Simons has come on board as writer, executive producer, and showrunner. So he's going to be a busy lad, and he's going to be busy chap. Battlestar Galactica, which remains in development at Peacock, has been a passion project for Mr. Robot creator Sam Ismail. I actually quite liked the early Mr. Robot, but I kind of stopped watching it. So Ismail is a big fan of the original. That there is what I'm interested in. If he's a big fan of the original, like he says, is it going to be closer to the original than the 2005 remake or reboot or reimagining, as I like to call it? Whose company, Ismail Corp, is producing the reboot through UCP, where the company is based. See, I like that look. I like what he's saying. He's a big fan of the original, but we'll see that when it comes to fruition, right? We'll see how much of a fan to the original he is. First announced as being in development on NBC Universal's streamer Peacock in 2019. Now, Peacock. The thing is, I've seen stuff about Peacock and Battlestar Galactica and a lot of the remakes that they want to do, and they kind of they don't have the backbone to follow up on or follow through with their promises. But I'm hoping that this one will definitely happen. In 2019, the Battlestar Galactica reimagining previously had Michael Leslie attached to write and executive produce. Executive produce. You're either a producer or you're not, right? Executive, what's the point? Anyway, so see, this is another thing, right? A new take on the classic IP. The latest incarnation is executive produced by Simmons, as well as Ismail Corpse, Sam Ismail, and Chad Hamilton, UCP, a division of Universal Studio Group, is the studio. Yeah, okay, I don't have a problem with that, to be honest. We are working on it, Ismail told Deadline in October about the Battlestar Galactica series reboot. And in fact, I just read a great outline, and it's in great shape. Because the strike is over now, well, this is obviously from an older article. Hi, Kerry. How you doing? It's great to see you. Great to see you. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The Deadline in October about the Battlestar Galactica series reboot. And in fact, I just read a great outline. I've read that bit. Silly me. So yeah, the strike is over now. At least the WGA strike is over. We're back into development. So okay, that's fair enough. So the original Battlestar Galactica centered on the last group of humans on the verge. Sorry, I'm not a very good reader of extinction after a series of wars with a robot race, the Cylons. See, this is what I think they should do. They should go back to the original because in the original, the Cylons were created by a alien species, right? The original Cylons were reptilian, and they created the Cylon robots as servants, basically, just like in Caprica. But I like that version best because I think that part of the story is much more believable than humans building the Cylons. Because basically, with the original, the Cylons basically wipe out their own creators and then carry on the same kind of civilization as their creators built, before they were destroyed. So the Cylons destroyed 12 colonies. All the humans are left in one remaining battleship group. Yeah, battleship group, I suppose. It would have been better if you said Battlestar Group. That would have been a lot nicer, I think. Anchored by the Galactica, as they searched for their last option for survival, a fabled 13th colony known as Earth. Now, I don't know how many of you have actually watched the original, but that is actually an important part of the opening sequence, where he starts talking about that some believe that there are still descendants of man traveling amongst the stars or something along those lines. It's been a long time since I've watched it. I'm going to have to watch the original again soon. I really enjoy it every time, except for the 1980s version. That was pretty damn bad, right? So where was I? This one. Right, here we go. The original Glenn A. Larson created series produced by Universal and starring Richard Hatch, Dirk Benedict, and Lorne Green as Commander Adama. Lorne Green was amazing as Adama. I have to say that. Ran on ABC for one season in 1978 to 1979. It was followed by a short-lived sequel and several book and comics series. I haven't really read the books and I haven't read the comics, but I hear they're really good. Dee. Thanks, Steve. A board game and a video game as it gained cult status. Sorry, status. Like I said, I'm not a very good reader, if not commercial success. UCP, then known as Universal Cable Productions, produced Ron Moore's critically and commercially successful 2003 revamp. Oh, it was a 2000. Oh yeah, the miniseries of 2003, wasn't it? Which started as a miniseries before becoming a series starring Edward James Olmos, in Green's commander role, Mary McDonnell, Kate Sarkoff, and Grace Park, which ran for 4 seasons and spawned a short-lived prequel, Caprica. Simons is the creator and executive producer of USA Network, UCP's popular crime anthology series, which ran for 3 seasons. He is repped by WME and Zaftig Films. Ismail also co-created and executive produced the UCP series Homecoming for Prime Video, and most recently directed and produced the hit Netflix movie Leave the World Behind, reuniting with Homecoming star Julia Roberts. He is repped by CAA and McEwen Frankel Whitehead. Anyway, well, that's the article basically. I liked Caprica too. I really did like Caprica. It could have been a lot better, but I enjoyed it. I really did. Yeah, I liked that as well. They put that in the opening sequence, didn't they? Where the Cylon walks past Face, who obviously was the original Starbuck. But I mean, what do you guys think of that? Because that says to me that it might be a pretty good step for it. I really do. I've been looking forward to another reboot of Battlestar Galactica ever since I heard about it. I think it was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. It's a long way back. In fact, wasn't it like just a couple of years after the reimagining that they started having rumors about a possible second reboot? But I'm like I said at the beginning. I hope that they stay true to the original more, because, like it said in the article, if I go back and find it, just a second, the part in the article near the beginning, I think it is there, because Ismail is supposed to be a big fan of the original, so I'm hoping that that is a good sign, because I would love to see more of the modernizations. So I wish they would do a modernization of the original War of the Worlds. Like, take the same script, just like with Battlestar, like I said earlier with Battlestar, take the original script and just revamp it with so it's more modern, and then use the same design. Use the same design for the war machines instead of changing them for the tripods. I know they were originally supposed to be tripods for the original, but they went with the hovering off the surface with the 3 lasers to replace the legs, which I thought was a much better design, to be honest. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think a more modernized version of the original would be a lot better than a full reboot? Because that's what I think of when I hear reboot. I originally think it's the same script with the same basic designs, but just modernized. Because for me, that makes sense. But I don't know. I mean, I like to be hopeful with these things, but in today's climate, I think it's difficult. Exactly, exactly. The dog. What was his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Ah, Muffet 2. That's it, Muffet, the robotic dog. That uh oh, what was the kid's name? What was the kid's name? Exactly, exactly. That's the thing that they don't do, especially modern nowadays. They don't respect the source material. Um, but I mean, if we were talking Star Trek, it would be canon, right? Canon is the original source material that they should follow and respect. Um, Boxy, that's the one, because we see Boxy in the reboot, don't we? But we only see him a few times. At one point, he's in the briefing room, standing next to Starbuck, and hands her a lit cigar, right? Which is not a good sign, you know, a kid handing an adult a cigar. I mean, seriously, you would think that if they're that advanced, they wouldn't smoke in the first place. Anyway, so it's both good news and concerning news, in my opinion. And I just wanted to bring that out so that you guys could see. Um, Steve, my cat, is running around, and she is just being a pain in the butt. Uh, but yeah, Boxy was the name of the kid. If they knew what was good for them and wanted to make a lot of money, you'd think they'd stick to the OG source material. Exactly, exactly. Uh, they just don't bother, do they? They're not interested in the original story, you know, because they think they're making an original project. But you can't make an original project if you're copying something that came before, right? Which, I mean, and that's a problem we have these days. Um, but there is something else, like you can see in the thumbnail and the title. We're going to be talking about How to Train Your Dragon, and it's not animated. It's the live action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon. Um, so if you don't like How to Train Your Dragon, you know you're going to have to stick with it. But there are some good things and there are some bad things, I believe. So we'll look into it. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Hmm. But let's bring this up. Jared Butler. Now, this is the good thing because he actually did play. Um, his name slips my mind, but he did actually play the father, Stoic. He played Stoic's father in the animated movies, right? Yes, and we're going to get into that a little bit in this article. I promise. Uh, so I won't go into as much detail of this, except the things that I want to talk about is the fact that, I mean, it's not the fact that they're making it. I mean, I'm glad they're making it. I just wish they wouldn't do the same thing that they did with the Little Mermaid. Um, this is the problem, Nico Parker. So if I just bring up, I'm sure you guys probably know who she is, but this is basically her. Oh, no, it's not. Might as well be. Where did it go? There we go. It dropped down for this. So let me ask you this question: Does she, he, them, whoever she likes to be called, whatever she likes to be called, um, don't want to be binary on this channel, but yeah, Nico Parker. Does she look like a European or a blonde-haired European girl? Because I don't think so. Um, and the fact that we got her, I mean, I'm not saying that she's a bad actress. I'm not playing. I'm not saying this in a racist way. But why the fuck do they keep race swapping Europeans? She may well be. I don't really know her. I haven't looked her up as an actress, but I mean, like I said, she's probably a very good actress as far as I mean. She was in Dumbo, apparently, the live action adaptation. But I'm not being racist or anything, or sexist or anything like that, or genderist, as whichever you prefer. I would like them to have continuity and historic accuracy. There's a reason why Astrid was a blonde white girl, because a blonde European existed. There weren't really any darker skins in Europe, really, at that time. Not that many. It would have been extremely rare. I know from history that yes, dark skinned people were in Europe, but they weren't in Europe that much. There weren't that many. But I just wish that they would, you know, stop with the gender swapping and race swapping. I mean, obviously, this isn't a gender swap, but the fact that they got a dark skinned girl, I won't say anything else other than that, as Astrid, who is supposed to be portrayed as a white European with blonde hair and blue eyes, which. Hmm. But anyway, so the film is set to bow on June 13th, 2025. But I mean, I looked at Mason Thames or Thames. I mean, he doesn't seem that bad. Exactly. I mean, we're talking about dragons, so how real does it have to be? I mean, it doesn't have to be that real, but mean, it's like take Rings of Power for instance. Um, the source material didn't have black elves, did it? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that. Like I said, I'm not saying anything in a racist way. I am not racist. I just wish they wouldn't carry on with the race swapping and gender swapping because it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, going back to Battlestar Galactica in the remake, they did gender swapping. It's true. Yeah, we all know that. You think they do this stuff just to provoke a response and allow them to clutch their pearls and tell us how ist we are. Exactly. They do a lot of the time. They do it to get a response from basically from YouTube. I think they do it on purpose to get a response from content creators, knowing that either they're going to love it or hate it, and they're gonna talk about it regardless. Like I am right now, like all of us will. Exactly, 100% Yorkshire geek. Exactly. Yeah.
Steve.
Well done. Yeah, it's 100%. Again, like I said, but I don't know. It's difficult to say how, it might well be a good film. I mean, I enjoyed the live action Little Mermaid. I just wish they didn't do the race swapping. I mean, they were so bad with the race swapping that one King Triton, had how many daughters did he have in? He had, was it five other daughters than Ariel? Was it six altogether? Was it? And each one was a different race in that movie. And he was a big, white, stocky white guy. And he apparently had all these daughters that just happened to represent each race on the planet, basically. But from the looks of it, they are aiming for a June 13th, 2025. Uh, the new pick will draw audiences deep into DWA's imaginative lore, working from a single narrative tapestry. The adventures of Hiccup and Toothless have captivated fans across the three films and have grossed more than $1.6 billion combined. But they haven't referenced the three animated shows. I think there were three. Was there three animated shows? There was The Race, and there was there were. I'm sure there were three. I think there were three. There are three shows, but they don't reference that, do they? Because it don't earn money, just views. So Mark Platt is producing the live-action movie for the Universal-based Mark Platt Productions. Wow. Yeah. Alongside Mark Platt, Productions President Adam Siegel, VP Production Lexi Barter will oversee the film on behalf of Universal. Okay. While the studio went with new faces for Hiccup and Astrid, since the actors that had previously voiced the characters are now adults, well, that makes sense. The idea of having Butler return as Stoic, the strong-willed Viking chief, who will no doubtlessly be a weakling, a weak man, in today's climate. Viking chief, who is also a single father. That's even more ammunition for them, isn't it? To raise his son. Ooh, more ammunition. Was too good to pass up. Known for his action-heavy roles like the Olympus Has Fallen. Sorry, Olympia. That's because I was looking at Percy Jackson and the Olympians the other day, and I thought, oh my god, what the hell? Franchise and 300. Butler's role in How to Train Your Dragon was a fan favorite. Well, yeah. And his casting allows the studio to pay a proper tribute to the original cast. Tribute to the original cast? Really? By race swapping one of them? Butler remains one of the busiest action stars in town. And that's true. I mean, he's been in quite a lot lately, hasn't he? He really has. With thrillers, Plane. I didn't like Plane that much, to be honest. Kandahar was okay. Both Boeing. What the hell are they thinking, wording it like that? Boeing. What bowing? This year, as is the. How do they get these jobs writing these articles if they can't even enunciate properly? Am I right with using that word as enunciate? Can't remember. Sequel to his 2018 action movie Den of Thieves. Butler is repped by Alan Siegel Entertainment and CAA. Look, I mean, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is, we've got Butler back as Stoic. Bad news is they've race swapped another. I mean, it's not the end of the world when they do it. It's just I really do wish that they would do it, more sensibly regarding the source material and the era or time frame that the material was set. I really do wish they would do that. But you guys will have to tell me what you guys think, because I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult to go through. Yeah. Who's playing Hiccup? It was just a second. Let me bring it up again. It was Mason Thames. Thames. Yeah, let's put it up so that you can see his IMDb. This guy. It was this guy, Mason Thames, from The Black Phone, 2021. But let's have a look down and see what he's been in. So, Walker, The Black Phone, Evil for All Mankind, and after not many. He hasn't been in many. He's been in 5. We've got 4 coming up. Boys of Summer incoming, The Black Phone, and How to Train Your Dragon. Wow, what was that? Yeah. Well, that's some of the projects he's got coming out. I think I forgot to put the thing up on live. So yeah, he's been in Walker, For All Mankind, 3 episodes of All Mankind. So he's not. He hasn't been in enough to be well known. Let's just put it that way. Was it any good? Was it any good? Yeah, so was Black Phone any good? Because it's getting a sequel. Apparently. But that's the thing, they're starting to use more new upcoming actors, probably because anyone that we know would refuse to be in something like that. But at least it gives them a chance, right? It gives them a chance to kickstart their career. If it, but it also gives it a chance to tank their career at the same time. But hey, it could be worse. It could have Rachel Ziegler in it. But Steve thinks it's okay. I never heard of it until I saw it on the IMDb page. To be honest, I didn't hear it. I never heard of it. But it might be okay, but I mean, it obviously isn't good enough for it to be widespread. Dear God, no. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, for Butler, it's not a huge role for Butler, is it? I mean, he's not going to be in it all the way through, is it? It'll be weird. Yeah, exactly. And I was going to do a reaction to Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it because I just don't really want to watch it. Oh dear. Wow. Just what can you do these days? I mean, you got all these. Everything's either got a toxic actor in it who just won't shut up when she knows, when she knows what's good for her. It's a little boy kidnapped, put in a cellar with a phone. It's worth one seeing for me, but never again. Okay. See, I like the Hunger Games franchise, but I mean, each one of the Jennifer Lawrence ones, you look forward to it because you know it's a continuation. And the first one was outstanding. The second one was good. The third one was okay, but then the fourth one, of course, because it was the final one was in 2 parts because it was a bigger book? It's like Harry Potter, wasn't it? You had all those individual ones and then the final 2, and a lot of other IPs are doing that now, aren't they? We had Fast X, which was split into two. We've got what else was split into two? I know there's at least another two that had 2-part endings. Oh yeah, the Mission Impossible has a 2-part, doesn't it? It's an old phone with the cord cut, but still rings. Is it some sort of supernatural kid thing then? If it's Disney executives really worked with myths. Weird, 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 weird for her to do that 180 in her interview with the girl from the new Mermaid movie. Halle Bailey. That's the first time I've actually said her name without calling her Halle Berry. Right. Okay, so it's a supernatural thriller. Yeah, probably still won't watch it. I might take a look, but if I take a look and I don't like it, I just won't be watching it. Yep, that's her. Yeah, Haley Bailey. Haley Bailey. Haley Bailey. Sounds like Tweaky saying someone's name. Billy Billy Billy. Haley Bailey. Haley Bailey. Billy Billy. Now you see that's a show that I would love to have a reboot. Not the modernization like I would prefer for Battlestar Galactica, but I reckon that a good reboot would be, Buck Rogers in the 21st century, but maybe the 26th century now. Maybe I think that would be pretty good. But probably won't happen because he's a womanizer, isn't he, Buck Rogers? And I think they were talking about doing a reboot, but it was a reboot of the very original version. That was a newspaper comic strip in the 20s or 30s, which was William something Rogers, was it? Because it wasn't originally Buck Rogers; it was William Rogers, or something along those lines. But I don't know. Just trying to think, but it's eluding me. I do like a supernatural thriller, though, David. I mean, but I mean, it's like I see, like Paranormal Activity. I enjoyed Paranormal Activity. That was really good. The first time you watch it, it's a jump movie, right? It made you jump at the end. Through the movie wasn't jump worthy, but that bit at the end where he gets thrown at the camera, that was a jump part. That was a scare part, right? That made you jump the first time because you weren't expecting it. And the fact that you would know something, that they heighten your expectations with that noise before something happens. But they went too far with the Paranormal Activity movies, I think. What else? There were some pretty good. Yeah, exactly. It's you watch a scary movie for the jump, right? That's it. A jump movie is a scary movie is supposed to get a reaction from you. You're supposed to jump. It's supposed to get your heart pumping, which is why I always say that. I mean, if you jump at a scary movie, then it's healthy. It's healthy to jump at a scary movie. It's like when I was a kid, I hated. I loved to watch Jaws, even though I was too young to watch Jaws. I loved watching Jaws, but there was that one part that I would always hide behind the sofa, and it's not the parts you would think. It's the part where Mr. Hooper is underneath the boat and he gets the tooth out, and for some reason, I was always scared by the guy's head appearing in the hole in the boat. I don't know why. It just I could. Yeah, ghost movies are pretty good. I love, but no, I don't like the Blair Witch either. Um, but regarding Blair Witch, it was one of the first found footage movies, wasn't it? It was like it was supposed to be a found footage, and then and then put on and then released as a movie. But it was obviously it was wasn't that university students made that movie? Didn't they? That was made by college students or something. Um, and they found it. They thought it was good enough to actually warrant a release. That's the one, Ben Gardner's head. I just don't know why, but that always scared me, and I would always hide behind the sofa every time it was on. But it was the only part. I mean, I could watch people getting eaten by sharks on documentary. I can watch anything, but that one part, I just thought that just freaked me out, and I do not know why. Made me think I was a pussy for a long time after that. When I grew up, when I realised it was stupid to be scared of that part. That was Ben Gardner's gnome. It's ridiculous. Um, yes, it did still suck, big time. It really did. The Blair Witch just should never have happened. I mean, there are a lot of movies that I want to talk about a few movies that were remade or rebooted, but really badly. Now, for one, I loved Friday the 13th series right away from the beginning right to the end. But the remake, I can't remember what year it was, when they remade it, um, it was, I thought it was well done for a slasher movie, but they didn't do the original any any justice. I mean, it was terrible in comparison to the early Friday the 13th movies. The Jason Voorhees, to me, he's always been kind of a um, I don't know, but if I was to say compare Friday the 13th to Halloween, the only reason Halloween got more popularity was because it actually came out first. If I remember correctly, the script for Friday the 13th was on the same desk as Halloween, but Halloween got picked, and then the script for Friday the 13th went to another studio. In the editor's swimming pool. There was that interview that was brought up earlier with um, weird Ortega. No, Ziegler. Sorry, I keep getting them mixed up because I keep thinking of Ortega when I was watching Wednesday because it's a much better show and she's a much better character actor. Uh, but Ziegler, mm, that interview with Ziegler and Bailey, where Ziegler said that she felt sorry for Bailey for spending 18 hours a day in a swimming pool. And to be honest, I don't think she went anywhere near real water in that movie. I think that was all done with CGI. I don't think there was any swimming pools involved. I don't like how the Conjuring series didn't use real events. It used some, but they mashed different events into one movie. Plus, they put things in that never actually happened. Um, well, it came out that the actual characters that the husband and wife are based on were basically just scam artists, right? Um, but I like the Conjuring series. I mean, you got a lot. I mean, you got what? You got Conjuring, got Insidious, you've got Okay, like David, I like any version of Halloween that doesn't have what's her name in it. Damn it, I've had her name in my head, but it's gone. What was her name? What was her name? What was her name? Who played the original Laurie Strode? Um, why can't I remember her name? Not Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode was Nightmare on Elm Street, wasn't it? Was it? I'm so confused. I can't remember her name. Why can't I remember her name? Um, Jamie Lee Curtis. That's the one. Yeah, that's it. Any Halloween movie that doesn't have Jamie Lee Curtis in, I actually like, except for The Curse of Michael Myers. That was a terrible movie. Yeah, you're both right. I just couldn't remember it because I don't like her. It's not. So I don't like her as a person. I just don't like her as an actor because. Um, okay, Carrie, no problem. I'm going to call it shortly anyway. But yeah, I don't like her as an actor. I think um, certain actors they don't come across as if um, they're working hard. If that makes any sense. I mean, actors they should work for to be the character that they're in, right? You too, Kerry. Take care. It's great having you. Uh, you missed, well, you missed some, yeah. Wind Grace, how you doing, buddy? Yeah. So, um, stop. I've got to stop clicking on other ones to get off the other. But yeah, it's just one of those things. But I mean, I do wish, like I said at the beginning, I wish that when they decide to reboot or remake something that has existed before, like Battlestar Galactica, the A Team, all the good 80s stuff that we've had, um, it would be nice if they just modernize the script, take the original and modernize it. Like I said, True Lies, yes. Trading Places, not so much, David. Um, I don't know why. It's just something about her I just don't like. If that, I don't know if that makes any sense. I can't put a finger on why I don't like her. Um, it's not a personal thing. I don't personally don't dislike her as a person. I mean, I just dislike her as an actor. If that makes sense. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, but like I said, when they reboot or remake any of the '80s stuff, like I said before, Battlestar Galactica, Knight Rider, stuff like that. And don't forget, Knight Rider was rebooted, but it was kind of like a continuation reboot. I actually liked the fact that the kit was a Ford Mustang at the time, or Shelby at the time. It was the new Shelby GT500, I believe, um, which is an awesome looking car. I think. I think the new Mustangs look great. Um, but yeah, well, I'm going to call it there. This has already gone on far longer than I was expecting. Really wasn't expecting it to go this long, but it's great having you guys here. And hopefully, I'll see you all again soon. David, I'll probably see you in a side trek chat at some point soon. Wind Grace, I'll see you on the old Yorkshire Geeks, uh, along with
Steve, 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 Steve.
yep, along with Steve. So yeah, Wind Grace, um, I'm sorry you came in a bit late, but Yeah. I hope you liked that, Steve, because I enjoyed finding it and editing it. And Alan, there is actually one that I could do for you, but you don't often appear in the chat. So if you appeared in the chat a bit more, then maybe I would get one for you. There's not many because it's hard to find clips of animals saying people's name. And David B, I have actually found a clip that has an animal calling David, but I haven't got it available. It's either that, well, this was unusual for me to be this early. Usually, I would do a live at about 7 or 8, but I decided to do this one a bit earlier for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Hopefully next time I'll schedule the next one to be about 7 o'clock ish. If that's normal time that you come on, then I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I'm going to call it here, guys, and hopefully I will see you again. And as always, guys, don't forget, take care, stay safe, and may the Schwartz be with you always. Take care.